Hello and welcome to Nana's Crafty Home. My name is Tanya. Today's tutorial is going to show you how to crochet the Leaping Stripes and Block Stitch. This is an easy 2-row repeat with perfect for blankets. Let's go ahead and get started. So to resize this stitch pattern, you would work a foundation chain in multiples of 4 plus 2. For this sample, I'm going to start with 34 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 31, 32, 33, and 34. For row 1, I'm going to work a double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook, and those skipped chains are going to count as my first stitch. So counting over 1, 2, 3, and 4, work a double crochet in that 4th chain. Double crochet in the next chain. Now I'm going to chain 2, skip 2 chains, so skip the next 2 chains, work 1 double crochet in each of the next 2 chains. So skipping 2, double crochet in the next, and double crochet in the next. Chain 2 and skip 2, double crochet in the next 2 chains. And we're just going to be repeating that same sequence across our row. Chaining 2, skipping 2, double crochet in the next 2 chains. When we get to the end of our row, I'm going to chain 2, skip 2, and double crochet in those last 3 chains. So skip 2, double crochet in the last 3. Now, and that will be the right side of our work. So row 1 is the right side. I'm going to turn for row 2 and chain 1. Work a single crochet in the same stitch. So at the base of that chain 1, over that last double crochet of the previous row, work a single crochet, chain 2, skip 2, so skip the next 2 stitches, and now we're going to be working a double crochet in those skipped chains. So those skipped chains from that previous row, we're going to work over the chain 2, but you're going to work a double crochet. So yarn over just as you would for a normal double crochet, insert your hook into that skipped chain, yarn over, and you're on the other side of your work, so you're going to be working over that chain. So yarning over and pulling up a loop, yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over and pulling through 2. And I've worked a double crochet over that chain 2. So you can see that chain is completely enclosed on both sides with that double crochet. Now I'm going to work a double crochet in that next skipped chain, so inserting your hook into that chain, yarning over and pulling up a loop, yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over and pulling through 2 to complete your double crochet. So we're going to chain 2, skip the next 2 stitches, and then do the same thing again, yarning over, inserting our hook into that first skipped chain, yarning over and pulling up a loop and completing our double crochet. Work a double crochet in that next skipped chain, so again, just repeating that sequence of chaining 2, skipping 2, double crochet in those skipped chains. and continue that on down our row. So at the end of row 2, I've worked a double crochet in each of those last 2 skipped chains from the previous row. I'm going to chain 2, skip the next 2 stitches, and work a single crochet in the top of that next stitch, which is those skipped chains from the first row. And I've completed row 2. Now, this is where we're going to be changing colors, if you're changing colors. So I'm going to be bringing in my second color. I'm not going to finish that last single crochet. I'm going to finish that single crochet by bringing in my second color. I'm just going to drop my first color because I'm going to pick it back up and use it again later, so I won't have a lot of extra ends to weave in. So I'm going to turn for row 3, and I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. That's going to count as my first stitch. So I have my chain 2 and those skipped stitches from the previous row. So 2 rows below, I have those skipped stitches. I'm going to work a double crochet in each of those skipped stitches by yarning over and inserting my hook into that first skipped stitch, working over that chain, yarning over and pulling up a loop, yarning over, pulling through 2, yarning over, pulling through 2 to complete my double crochet. And you can see that's completely closed in that chain, and I'm going to be working another double crochet in that next skipped stitch. Chain 2, skip the next 2 stitches, and repeat. Double crochet in that next skipped stitch over that chain 2. Double crochet in the next skipped stitch over that chain 2, chain 2, skip 2, double crochet in the next 2 skipped stitches. So we're just going to be repeating that on across our row. Chaining 2, skipping 2. And when I get to the end of my row, chain 2, skip 2, double crochet in the next 2 skipped stitches over that chain 2, and then double crochet in the last stitch, and turn for row 4. Chain 1, single crochet in that same stitch, chain 2, skip the next 2, working over that chain 2 into those skipped stitches from 2 rows prior, work a double crochet in each of those stitches. Chain 2, skip 2, double crochet in the next 2 skipped stitches. And this is where you really can start to see the uniqueness of this stitch when you're working it with 2 different colors. You can start to see how it's taking shape here. Those double crochets are coming below into that previous row down here, and it creates this jagged zigzag look. So chain 2, skip 2, double crochet in the next 2. And as you're going along, your repeats are going to be really easy to remember. And just continue that on down your row. And we get to the end of our row, chain 2, skip 2, single crochet in the top of that turning chain there to complete our row. Because I'm changing colors, I want to switch back to my first color. I'm not going to complete that single crochet. I'm going to drop my yarn and I'm going to pull in my first color back into my work. You're going to want to do this gently, yarning over and pulling through to complete your single crochet. You don't want to pull this too tightly when you're pulling it in. You don't want to pull your work and bunch it all together. You want to be gentle so that your yarn jog follows closely along your work, and then when you come around with a border or an edging, that will get covered with your border. But again, you don't want that terribly loose. You don't want a big gap. So if you had it loose, it'd be kind of floppy there, really hanging out, and it would be hard to cover and disguise that with a border. But if you just pull that gently back into your work, not too tightly, you can see it's following along nicely along the edge there. And you can just drop your second color, and you're going to do that every time you pull it into your work. And you're going to be changing colors every second row. And it's easy to remember because you're going to have that visual reminder when to change colors, because you'll change color every time you get back to where you've dropped your yarn. So we're going to turn for row 5, and you're just going to be repeating rows 3 and 4, those last 2 rows, until you get to the size desired in your pattern, alternating colors every 2 rows. So you're going to repeat rows 3 and 4, ending on an even row, and on that even row we can close off our stitch. So when you get to the size desired in your pattern and you're on your final row, and your final row is going to be an even row, and so it's the second row of any color, I'm going to go ahead and turn and chain 1, single crochet in the first 3 stitches. So on the top of those stitches, work a single crochet, and now we're at our first chain 2 space. We're going to again work over that chain 2, and in the unworked stitches from that row below, work a double crochet in each of those stitches. Single crochet in the next 2 stitches. Double crochet in the next 2. Single crochet in the next 2. Double crochet in the next 2 unworked stitches. Single crochet in the next 2 stitches. And we're just going to repeat that to the end. And what that's going to do is it's going to close in those gaps for our final row to complete our project. So go ahead and continue that to the end. And when we get to the end of our row, I'm going to work a single crochet in the last 3 stitches to complete the row. And that's all there is to it. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial today. Thanks so much for being with me. As always, remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you never miss a new video. Thanks everyone. I will see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.